Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be episode 1 of the tutorials. We're going to be doing some gesture drawing. I'm going to actually put up some real life images of people and break down what exactly does that mean and how you can apply it to enhancing your drawing ability. And I will talk about how I use it with everything that I draw. Let's draw. All right. So as you can see, I've already started laying out this drawing here, and it's real sloppy and real loose, kind of like my first episode. We're really gonna be using gesture lines, and what you saw me do just now is just draw the action line, and then I'm just gonna take a darker magic marker here, Sharpie, and put in some bolder lines so you can actually see it on the paper. Okay, so in this episode, I guess I'm gonna do this in a two-parter, gesture drawing, and it's just something that I use whenever I draw anything. I lay down any kind of design. I really use these loose, fast lines before I actually start doing the real drawing. In school, I actually hated drawing from pictures and still lifes and things like that. And actually, doing that is what made me a stronger artist, because if you can just draw a muscle or a superhero, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just the other fundamental things that go along with that'll actually make you a better artist. At this stage, I'm kind of doing something that I call building, and I'm just with the darker lines, and I'm actually shading, which I'll get into like maybe the third or fourth episode with. But so let me actually do a simple breakdown of the figure here. Most people start their drawing like this, just doing they go right into the details, start doing the face and start drawing the muscles line by line and a little bit of sketchy lines, and then they'll start putting some shading early, and then they'll start putting some more lines, and then they'll go and put some muscles here, and then they start putting in the details, and that automatically throws off the proportions. With gesture drawing, first thing you want to do is block out the action line. You see that line right there down his center and then going down his leg? And then what I do is I break the structure and the shapes, so I just have the idea, the overall shape of the figure. From there, I'll round out the muscles from the blocks, and then I'll actually start putting in some detail, and I slowly get there. Gesture drawing is really about three things: the pose, the action line, and the anatomy. And then there's a caveat with anatomy, because it's not really about being accurate. It's just about putting that bicep underneath the shoulder, putting the muscles and stuff where they go, but not giving into the details and going right into like some of the lines and stuff like that. You just really want to stay loose. You really want to stay fresh. So I'm already at a point where I'm comfortable enough with the gesture drawing that I'm just gonna put in some shade, put in a few details, and just have fun with the figure. I actually have it to the side of me as I'm looking at it and drawing, so you'll see a few pauses here and there, but the overall goal was to show you that every artist starts out like in the sketch phase. The ones that I really admire start out in the sketch phase. So actually, I shouldn't say every artist. All the ones that I really admire do this. Slowly build their drawing. It's kind of like a painting or a house. You have to start with the foundation, and there's certain steps you have to take before you start putting up walls. And this is basically the way I look at it. I look at these funny lines, and then ugly shapes, and if you see, I went straight to pens. I didn't use any pencils. There are no erasing, In fact, I don't believe in erasing when you're doing gesture drawing, because there isn't a wrong line. When you put yourself under pressure of actually drawing and going straight into the detail and straight into the contour lines of the figure, you're gonna have to erase because things are gonna be off. But with gesture drawing, there's no wrong lines, because you'll use those very same lines to build something. So for this figure here, I started it from the beginning, so that way everyone can see where exactly I'm coming from. If you see, I'm breaking everything down into shapes, the muscles, everything, and the action line, the main line that I started, that created the pose for me before I started drawing, is the one that's coming down his back into the front of his knee, the one that's closest to us. And these are just very loose, round shapes. I'm just trying to capture the movement and the overall pose of the figure, and I worry about being correct or right about the anatomy my second or third pass, you know. And the figure actually, you know, he's already in a very, very cool pose, and he's creating some shapes. Even the negative spacing, you have to look at that space between his arm and his chest, like that triangle shape. Those type of things are shapes that you have to look at when you're just doing the rough gesture drawing. And in fact, right here, I kind of messed up on the knee, but we're doing this in ink pen. That's just a Sharpie. There is no erasing. Just draw it over the other lines, and I'm going to use the fact that I was off with the one to correct it with the other. So, curves. Really want to look at the curves, and now that I'm at the point where I'm comfortable enough where I think everything's correct, the arms are aligned, and I think I have the overall structure of the pose. Now I'm going to look at the curves and put the details into the muscles, but still work on the shapes. This is actually what I call building, and it's basically like a tighter gesture drawing. Now, one of the things when you watch other tutorials and other videos on gesture drawing, there's an element of speed that is automatically applied to those techniques, and you don't have to worry about that for this project, for just drawing the actual figure. Now, there are times where I do time myself, and I have 1 minute to get this figure, 5 minutes, I do a 10-minute, then I'll do a 30-minute, and I'll do drawings like that, but those will actually be real life models, and I actually will do some videos on that in the future. But for this one, we're not looking at the speed aspect of gesture drawing, because that will make you good. I'm just wanted to show you that even though I'm gesture drawing and I'm very loose sketching, this photograph, I'm using it to in the comic book process art style, which is really what I want to express. I didn't see too many of that when I watch other comic book artists draw. They go into it and they have a few sketch lines, but really drawing like this, you can draw anything, start off, you know, loose like this, and then slow to get tighter. Here I grabbed a different pen, and I'm comfortable enough now where I know Spider-Man's costume, and I want to just turn this guy that's in this cool pose that reminded me of Spider-Man, so I said, why not make him into Spider-Man? So I'm gonna go straight into the muscles, and just kind of like the blue portion of his outfit is a little shiny, so that's what I'm doing now with the details. And if you see, I'm still drawing in sections and areas, and I'm actually still looking at the photograph of the model as I'm drawing a superhero, really. So just because it happens to be a superhero doesn't mean that it doesn't come from real life. Like it because of real life, it allows me to break down things into shapes, so that way I can draw my superheroes. I can draw the anime, I can draw, you know, robots and stuff like that, Transformers, and it's the process for me is still this way, you know. So let's finish me watch or let's continue to watch me draw Spider-Man here, and enjoy this this awesome beat by Lutek. I gotta give him a shout out because he's producing some great music for these videos. Okay guys, let's just watch me draw as we ride this beat out a little bit, and I'll cut in and out as I see something. Okay, a little bit earlier ago, I was actually, when I was doing the knees and blocking out the shadows for that, like I said, I'm still using the picture as a reference, and I just made some squares because, like, so for the elbows and knees, I will just block some shapes out as opposed to other parts of the muscle that I actually keep a little round. Now this is a little further advanced technique, but I just felt like I needed to talk about it, you know, as I draw this. Another thing, actually, I was telling my producer that this is probably the 5th time I've ever drawn Spider-Man. I've never, never just had an inkling to do it. And then I saw this pose and kind of, wanted the challenge. Like, man, can I just turn this dude into Spider-Man? He's already in that pose for me. So, decided to take a crack at it here and share with you guys the success or the failure of the drawing. Because no matter what, it's still a learning process. We're only at the first episode of drawing, and like, the other one was just a warm up and an intro, and this one, we're actually getting into the techniques. What I'm using is a Prisma brush pen. I'm not too familiar with it. I just picked it up the other day, but so far I'm really happy with it because it can give me both thin and thick lines. And I really just wanted it to show on camera really well, because one of the things that we're going to experiment is like real life drawing, then some things in Photoshop and in the computer, Illustrator, pencil versus pen and stuff. And the good thing, I am comfortable just drawing straight with a pen, that I don't need a pencil, because I really want it to show, and I want you guys to be able to see, the lines that I'm putting on the paper. And it looks like I'm finishing up here. I think I just have to do the webbing on the red portion of the costume, but that's Spider-Man. And again, it's just starting out from some pose that I googled, and some motto, but using real life references, gesture drawing, and building the drawing to the point where you actually have a fully fleshed out figure that I'm overall pretty happy with. Thought it was a successful drawing, and I think real time it took me about 45 minutes to do, so I'm pretty happy with it. If you liked what you saw and enjoyed what you heard, please like and subscribe. I can appreciate the love and support. And until the next episode.